This episode of the Just John Podcast is brought to you by the fact that the first sales pitch for Nerf Ball was Nerf. You can't hurt babies or old people. What up, homies? I'm your host, John Medina, and this, my fine ladies and gentlemen, is the Just John Podcast, episode 20. Today on the show, I'm going to talk about highlights from CES, illegal hoverboards, the Game of Thrones being late, and much, much more.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
CES 2016. So at the time of this recording, the show is still not over. It's been going on for a few days, and it's got a few days left to run, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about a few things. The first thing that I want to kind of establish is that they released a ton of computers, TVs, and tablets. And I'm not really going to touch on those too much just because I'm sure that you've been flooded with a ton of that information. And if I wanted to try to cover all of CES, we'd be here for like 24 hours of solid recording because there's just a ton of different things. But I've went through and looked at some of the new stuff that's been displayed, and I've decided to pick a few things that I thought were really, really cool. The first thing on the list is the 360 fly camera. And so what it does is it takes spherical videos that don't require a bunch of complicated editing to get your 360 degree video that you see on YouTube and Facebook. It has one lens and it includes a 4K image sensor, and you can attach it to a bike or different things like that, helmets and whatever you want. I mean, I guess you could even stick it to your dog if you really wanted to. And to be honest, when you're looking at a camera that supports 3D video, you know that you just expect that you're going to be spending quite a bit of money. But this isn't terribly expensive. You can actually get it for $399.99 at Best Buy. And don't get me wrong, that's no small amount, but for the capabilities of what you're looking at, that's actually pretty decent price. The next thing on the list is brought to you by a French tech firm known as Zhor-Tech. I'm sure that it's probably pronounced differently, but whatever. And they brought sneakers, white self-lacing shoes, and women's pumps. And they're all smart shoes. So what exactly is a smart shoe? So you can adjust the temperature of the shoe with an app. So like if your feet are really, really sweaty, you can make the shoe cooler with an app, or if your feet are cold, you can make the shoe warmer. And not only that, it can measure your steps more accurately than you can with a fitness tracker on your wrist because it's actually measuring when you put the pressure on your feet and different things like that. Now, that's not to say that you still couldn't trick it, but I mean, to be honest, most people that get fitness trackers aren't interested in tricking them. They want them to be as accurate as possible because they're actually using them to, surprise, surprise, track fitness. They had a ton of new drones. They were looking at around 100 different new drones to be introduced during the course of CES. And on Tuesday, they had something called the Drone Rodeo, which was a collection of 25 different drone manufacturers in the desert, just kind of showing you the drones that they had and what they could do and the things that set them apart. And this came at a time when, I mean, honestly, it's actually pretty good because we talked a few weeks ago, last week, week before that, I can't remember for sure, but I know we talked about it recently, that there are some new laws coming out where you have to register your drones and some FCC regulations, and I'm glad that that came out before CES because that's something that you want your customers to know when you're selling a drone, because the last thing you want to do is get on this big bad publicity stunt that, oh, so-and-so bought a drone from so-and-so company and they didn't know they had to register it because there was no information provided, and then they got hit with this big huge fine and they blasted it over social media, and then your company has to deal with this huge cluster of bad publicity coming from different people because you didn't provide the information needed. So it's a great time to say, hey, these are our drones. These are what they cost. These are what they do. These are what they look like. They're awesome. Buy it. But remember, you're going to have to go and register it. One of the other interesting things that was unveiled at CES was a smart wheel. And so what this is it's a device that goes over your driving wheel, and it alerts you when you do something stupid. So you decide to try to text and drive, and you decide to eat a hamburger and drive, or put on your makeup for you ladies, or you guys, I guess, whatever. I don't care. Do what you want to do. So this will basically just say, okay, so why are you driving unsafe? And we're looking at a time when it's going to start to get really weird on the roads, because we've got electric cars, we've got regular cars, and then we've got smart cars we've got cars that can park themselves. We've got cars that will not let you run into another car, but it won't stop another car from running into you. They're talking about having cars that will start communicating so that if they get too close to each other, they both sense it and prevent an accident. And then we've got, Google and Lexus and everybody, Tesla, talking about fully automated cars that will completely drive themselves. So in the next 10 years, we're going to see people that have a car that does everything for you. We're going to see people that have a car that's in between. And then we're going to see people that still have cars that don't drive themselves, that they have to drive, that the operator has to actually drive the car. And so this is something that can kind of help assist taking a car that cannot drive itself and give it some safety features that may help the driver avoid distractions and different things like that. Now, personally, when I'm driving, even if I'm driving safe and I'm attentive and I'm looking and I'm not texting, I'm not eating, I'm not doing any of that stuff, I don't always have two hands on the wheel. And I couldn't find a lot of information about how this decides if you're doing something stupid while behind the wheel. But if I had to guess, I would say that if you don't have both hands on the steering wheel, that's how it senses that you're doing this, because we haven't really made something smart enough yet that can say, oh, you only have one hand on the wheel, but you're not doing something stupid with that other hand. So it's a stepping stone to that. So I think it's really cool. There was no cost released on it, but I have a feeling it's probably going to be pretty pricey. The next device is something that will help both men and women deal with thinning hair. So, genetics are a part of it, age is a part of it, but you start getting older and your hair gets thin, and then you start losing it, and then you go bald, or you just have really weak, thin hair, and like the next time you cut it, it will never grow back. And this device is meant to help that. So Hair Max is a laser treatment that you put on your scalp for 90 seconds every night. And it actually really just kind of looks like a hairband thing that has lights on it, but it's expensive. It's $799. You're paying $800 for something that you're going to use for 90 seconds every day, if you remember. But I mean, I guess if you're spending $800 on it and you really are passionate about helping your hair, you're going to remember to use it. But I guess I don't know, because I haven't experienced that yet in my life, but I feel like I don't know if $800 is a lot of money, and I just don't know that I would want to spend that. The final thing on the list that I wanted to talk about is something called Remix OS. Now, this was a Kickstarter last year, and essentially what it is, it's a $70 box that will turn any device that has an HDMI in into an Android device. But the cool thing about this is that you don't have to buy the device. You can actually just go to the website and download essentially the SDK. It's really a partition. And you can even make it you can download the partition onto your computer, or you can download the partition onto a USB drive or anything like that. And basically it turns your computer it puts an OS over your computer. It works on any PC or Mac, and it gives you it looks like Chrome OS almost, essentially, but it also runs Android apps. So you can get any app that you can get on the App Store, you can get on this. And it's really, really, really cool. I haven't got a chance to try it out yet, but it's definitely on my list of things to go ahead and try out once I get the opportunity. I like it a lot. It's cool. I've always wanted because I have the Microsoft Surface and I love it. It is amazing. But the App Store on it doesn't always have the things that I want. And while I enjoy my phone, sometimes there's certain things that I want the bigger screen for. And this may be kind of a hybrid. I get the amazing screen and quality and speed of the Microsoft Surface Pro, but I also get the App Store of the Android ecosystem. It's really the best of both worlds, and I'm looking forward to testing it out.
Can I get apps and zerts?
Zerts are what I call desserts. Trays are entrees. I call sandwiches Sammys, Sandoozles, or Adam Sandlers. Air conditioners are Cool Blasters with a Z. I don't know where that came from. I call cakes big old cookies. I call noodles long-ass rice. Fried chicken is fry chicky chick. Chicken parm is chicky parm parm. Chicken cacciatore, chicky catch. I call eggs pre-birds or future birds. Root beer is super water. Tortillas are bean blankies. And I call forks food rakes.
Last week and the week before, okay, like 3 weeks in a row, we've talked about hoverboards. So, and once again, you know my feeling. They're not really hoverboards, bro, because they're not hovering, but whatever. So they're cool. I wouldn't mind testing one out and, playing around with it. I would hope it won't catch my house on fire. But something that I didn't know that I recently learned was that they're illegal in New York City. Currently, the New York Police Department can fine anyone caught gliding around on the non-hovering motorized contraptions, as said this article, in public up to $500. So if you get caught on one of those on a city street or on a city sidewalk, you can get fined up to $500. However, some New York City politicians want to change that. Politicians announced that they would be introducing a bill in both the New York City Council and the state legislature in Albany to exempt hoverboards from being classified as motorized vehicles or electric personnel mobility assistive devices. What kind of freaking verbiage is that? Electric personal mobility assistive devices. Instead, they would be granted their own separate category, which would allow the government to create new rules regarding safety and when and where the popular devices could be used. All I want to say on that is, does that mean like the little like kid scooters that you get that have the 1 horsepower engine in it that really, sounds like when you drive, almost like a Prius? Are those illegal too? Because technically those are electric personal mobility assistive devices. That's just a bunch of crap. You know what that is? That's government being bureaucratic to the max. They should be taking care of issues that are a lot more serious than old dude riding around on his gliding hoverboard. I mean, that's just the cogs of bureaucracy is what that is. No wonder taxes are so high, because they're busy freaking wasting manpower and legal system issuing citations and tickets and clogging up all the other aspects that go with that, all the paper processing and this and that, just to get a couple bucks because some dude's riding a hoverboard that has a little tiny motor in it. I mean, yeah, okay, so there's the potential for the person riding to get hurt, and if they collide with somebody, there's the potential for that person to get hurt as well. But to be honest, you can get hurt walking down the street. You can get hurt walking down the street if you run into somebody too. So you can't rationalize it really in any way besides just saying no. It's almost like a parent, a kid wants to do something, and the parent says no. Just because they don't want him to do it, there's not a real reason. They're just saying no. And so it's the same concept as that. And I just don't understand it. You know what it makes me feel? This is the type of person I imagine that the person is sitting in the office, whoever made up this law, and they're like, and we will not let them ride their hoverboards. And then he tells them that if they ever tell anybody that he farted, they're going to get a $500 ticket too.
Some avocado.
We are about halfway through the show, and I am going to play a song for you guys. This song is called Godzilla, and it's by the band With Confidence from their most recent EP, Distance.
Oh, I'm knocking down these buildings, like I'm breaking through these feelings, stepping on the dreams in my head. And I'm feeling kinda angry, but my attitude will vary. All the things you think I might have said. And when you think I'm coming home, lock the door, leave me alone, run into the ocean instead. And I think I'll try and give you up, running pretty low on love, covered in the sheets of my bed. Covered in the sheets of my bed. So I'm running through this ocean, failing in its motion. All the love I had for you is dead. There's a fire for your fury, and a gavel for your jury, and a place that you can claim in my stead. So I'm running through this town in black, leather jeans and stupid hats. To be or not to be's what he said. And I think I'll try and give you up, running pretty low on love, covered in the sheets of my bed. Covered in the sheets of my bed. And I'll do the best that I can to fuck up all your plans. You're as blind as the eyes that you steal. I hope your wounds will never heal. And I hate every breath that you take, 'cause I feel and I kneel and I break. And I know what it costs, 'cause now I am always lost. But your eyes will clash with your skin, and your gaze will hold me in. And I know your mind is set, so I'll take what I can get. And your eyes will clash with your skin, and your gaze will hold me in. But I know your mind is set, so I'll take what I can get. 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 So I'll take what I can get.
All right, and I'm back again. That song was called Godzilla, and it was by With Confidence. And if you like that song and you want to hear more of their stuff, you can check out the show notes. I'll have links to all their different websites and to iTunes and whatnot.
Bitch, where?
Game of Thrones. So we're coming up to the premiere of Game of Thrones in a few months, like in April, I think, right? And so, confession, I have not read the Game of Thrones books. I own them on my Nook, but I never actually got around to reading them. And then I started the show, and, you know, the thing about it is I rarely read a book and then watch the movie, or watch a movie and then read the book. And it's not because of spoilers necessarily. It's just I don't know. It's just not something that I do. The only ones that I can think of really that I read the book and watched the movies were The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Harry Potter. I've read plenty of Star Wars books, but none of them really apply to the... I've never read any of the ones that were rehashing the movies. I've only read now some of the expanded universe ones, and then a lot of the new ones that have been written since Disney bought Lucasfilm. But anyway, that's not the whole point of this story at all. The George R.R. Martin wrote this huge blog post saying that the latest book won't make it out in time for the Game of Thrones Season 6 premiere. And the whole plan behind it was, we're going to come out with the book so that the people that have read all the books and want to read the books before they watch it can read it, and then they can watch it. Now, it's been no secret that the TV show doesn't necessarily follow the books piece by piece, because there's characters from the books that are that are dead in the TV show but not in the books, and characters from the TV show that are alive but dead in the books, and this and that. And they've already came out and basically said that as the series goes further, they're going to break away more. But anyway, the people are really... there are a lot of people that are upset about this, and this is what George R.R. Martin said. The Winds of Winter is not finished. The book's not done, nor is it likely to be finished tomorrow or next week. I am months away still, and that's if the writing goes well. I am not going to set another deadline for myself to trip over. The deadlines just stress me out. It will be done when it's done. And I think this speaks to something. So George R.R. Martin's in a very unique situation, because this doesn't happen very often, that his show got turned into something for the screen. Or not his show, his book got turned into something for the screen before the series was completed. With most of the book series that get turned into movies and TV shows and stuff, the books are completed before the films even begin, so they don't run into this issue. You've already read the books, or you have the ability to read all of the books before you watch the movie or the TV show. This is not the case with the Game of Thrones series, and the other thing about it is, you love the Game of Thrones books if you've read the books, and if you like the books, you love them because of George R.R. Martin. He wrote them, he crafted them, and they are what he wants them to be. And if you want to honor that and read another good book, then you need to let him go through his process. If that means it's going to take an extra 6 months, it's going to be worth it, because the last thing you want is for him to phone in this book. It's the second to last book in the series. So you don't want it to be a half-assed, half-witted, scribbled on paper because he had to meet a deadline book. You want it to be fulfilled, and you want it to be written to the best of his ability and with all the creativity that he can come up with. That's what you want. So just lay off the dude, man. How would you feel if millions of people were constantly berating you, asking you if it was done yet? People can't even handle their boss saying, is it done yet? People can't handle their kids saying, are we there yet? Blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Imagine the whole world asking you if you're done with a book yet, and knowing that if you don't do it to the best of your ability, people are going to trash on it and say that you phoned it in. That's a lot of pressure to put on one person. And he's right. It is stressful, and the deadlines do not help. So all I'm saying is lay off the man, let him do what he's got to do, because when it's all said and done, it's better to wait a little extra time and have a good book. I mean, look, it relates to the new Star Wars film a lot. When JJ was brought on to help write and direct, they wanted the movie to come out in May. And JJ said, no, we can't do it right and put it out that early. We need more time. We need at least 6 months extra time. We've got to rewrite some stuff on the script. We're struggling with trying to figure out how to balance old characters and new characters. We do not want to have the feedback that the prequels got. This is, our last chance to bring Star Wars films back to their old glamour. And look what happened. It worked. So it didn't come out in May like traditionally the Star Wars films have. But it was worth it because it was a great movie. It's very hard to even find any complaints. It was so good. And so all I'm saying is that when somebody's creating something that you're a fan of and that you love, the last thing you want to do is rush them, because it's going to hinder their creativity and it may ruin it for you completely.
You know, when I see a car like this, first thing I do is I say, would you look at this?
I have found my new favorite Twitter account. So go to Twitter. If you're able to, while you're listening to this, go to Twitter right now and search Emo Kylo Ren and follow him. Now, the beauty about this account is whoever's running this account is committed, because they are following only 2 people. And the 2 people they are following are Darth Vader and Hot Topic. And that is beautiful. And it's so funny. It's clever. They've got a bunch of, whoever's doing it has crafted a bunch of great tweets, but I've compiled a list of 10 of my favorite Emo Kylo Ren tweets to date, and I'm going to go ahead and read through those real quick. Writes, search your feelings, you know it to be true, on his Converse in black Sharpie. Sometimes I wish I weren't an only child, but Mom says when you have siblings, weird things can happen. What's the word for when your father is frozen in carbonite, but emotionally for your whole childhood? Ugh, parsecs are units of distance, Dad. Uncle Lando said my helmet made me look like a depressed lampshade, and then everyone laughed and high-fived him. I hate this family so much. Darth Vader had no father. I envy him. I prefer the dark craft beers. You can't truly appreciate the Imperial March until you hear it on vinyl. I get all my winter clothes at Hoth Topic. They make fun of me, but Kylo Ren is a way realer name than Biggs Darklighter, the actual name of a man who my grandpa killed in battle. It's great. I love it. And it's just so funny because, like, they are committing to it. Like, they are no holds bar committing to creating this account of a my life's the worst, even though my life really isn't the worst type of person, and it's just fantastic. All right, and so as is tradition, I am going to end this episode of the Just John podcast with an app review. This week I'm going to review Magic 2015, which is an Android app, and it's made by Wizards of the Coast, so it's actually made by the company that's created Magic, and essentially it's like Hearthstone, but for Magic, which was the original. I mean, Hearthstone kind of based a lot of their gameplay and card creation and all of that stuff on Magic the Gathering anyway. And you start out the game, you go through a tutorial. If you've never played Magic before, it'll kind of teach you. You can also pick if you're a noob, if you've played a little Magic, or if you're a veteran. And this will they'll use that to kind of base your story play and stuff. So you go through the tutorials. After that, you can pick the deck that you want to use out. And then you start with that deck, and you can earn packs, and you go through the story mode, and you battle different people, and you battle, the other planeswalkers, and you can actually do a co-op and battle your friends and different things like that. And it's a lot of fun. I haven't gotten very far into it because, as with real life, like Hearthstone, they did a good job at making it to where an average Hearthstone match is like 5 to 10 minutes. So it's about the same time frame as, a round of team deathmatch in Call of Duty or whatever. But the Magic games are much longer, like 20, 25, 30 minutes, even a little longer. And so I haven't had as much time to put into it because I don't typically have 45 minutes to sit there and play on my phone. But it's a lot of fun, and if you've ever been a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or anything like that, any of those, collectible card, trading card games, but the actual gameplay of them, then I recommend that you download this and give it a try. It's enjoyable, and as I said, it's just the only downside of it is it can be really time consuming, and I haven't been able to put that much time into it.
Because I'm going to put my nutsack on your drum set.
If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo. You can find the show at Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast. You can also find the show at JustJohnPodcast.wordpress.com. You can listen to the show at SoundCloud.com/JustJohn-Podcast. YouTube.com/JFMedina2010. You can also search for the Just John Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and some other shite. You can email me with questions, comments, concerns at justjohnpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.